Hello, hello, hello. Today we are going to be talking a little bit about tarot poetry. Okay, so as I said, tarot poetry. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what this actually is before moving ahead. Okay, so essentially, for me at least, the collection that I'm working on is all inspired by the tarot. Pretty straightforward. So basically, I took one deck that I was trying to get to know, and initially it was like, okay, so I want to write some words that will help me to understand the cards on a deeper level, more than just like what is the most obvious, right? So I decided that it would be a good idea to write a poem for like each one of the cards, and it ended up that I decided that this was something that I was going to make public. So this is the new collection. This is what's coming. And I wanted to give you guys a couple of examples of some of what's going to be in there. So I'm actually going to read a couple. Now, that said, okay, like how far away am I from being done? Actually, not as far as I thought I was. I have my handy dandy notebook, as Blue's Clues would say. And in here has like all of the pieces that I've written. And so I've gone through all of the majors, and I've gone through all of the swords. So I have aces, pentacles, and wands, pentacles, and cups left to go. So I'm not quite halfway through the deck. So it's not bad. It's a lot better than I expected. So, like I said, I'm going to give you guys a couple of examples of some of the poems that are going to be in here. The other thing too is that there is going to be more information that's included. Like I've decided, and I decided like way back when I decided it was going to be like a full volume. Now, keeping in mind, like this has been a very, very slow process for me because like other writing has been taking precedence, right? So this has not been like my key project that I've been working on. At least not until, now. And now it's like the priority because I do want to get it done. Right. So there's going to be the 78 poems. There's also going to be a handful of short-ish essays. I say short-ish. Okay. They're going to be probably a few pages each, maybe a little bit more than that, depending on what I decide to write about. But part of it is going to be things like the inspiration behind actually writing the poems, the deck itself, why I chose that particular deck. I'm looking at getting permission to be able to publish some of the images specifically from that deck. But, of course, there's got to be permissions there. So I'm looking into all of this stuff. I'm going to have these essays written up as well. And there is going to be some extra effort that goes into writing the essays because I'm not really an essay writer. I mean, I haven't really been writing a lot of essays, at least not since I was in university. I've written a few articles on like Medium, and I've written like blog posts and things, but as like actual essays, that's been a bit different. I'm out of practice, but I'm definitely going to be adding them in anyways. So that said, I'm going to read a couple of these for you guys so that you get an idea of like what they sound like and like what each one is going to involve. Now, they're not super long, okay? Like I want you to know that they're all going to be floating somewhere around between probably 12 and 20 lines, depending on the card and, how in depth it's needed to be for each card. But the idea is to write that poem as though I'm telling a story about the card and what's happening in that particular entry, okay, in that particular piece. So I'm going to read the Fool to start with because that's where we begin with tarot, at least with the Rider-Waite, which is what I was working off of. Okay, specifically, it's the Radiant Rider-Waite, and I actually have my specific copy just over here. 1 second here. All right, so my cute little fox bag that doesn't actually have more than just the one little fox at the top, but here we are. All right, so this is my Radiant Rider-Waite. So of course this is the card I'm going to be working on next. So it's the Two of Cups. So I liked the coloring on these. It really did help to bring the cards to life. But I decided I wanted to use the Rider-Waite because it is such a standard deck. You know, so many other decks are based on the Rider-Waite system. And so the meanings of the cards stay more or less the same across all of those decks. So I did kind of feel like it would be more useful as like a learning tool for people, because that was kind of what I was hoping to do in the end. Was like, I initially, like I said, I had decided I wanted it to be something that I would learn from, that I could learn the cards better and more deeply, and decided kind of along the way that it would be useful for others as well, because like if I can learn the cards by doing it this way, why couldn't other people, right? So that was, you know, kind of part of that incentive. The other reason that I decided to use these cards is because at one point I had every single one of these cards. Now, keeping in mind, like, I have trimmed all the borders off, so I just left the actual words, and they're all like that. It's just the actual words and like the numbers. Okay, that's all that's on them, and I did edging on them in blue. Now, I haven't done this with a deck in a long time. This is a deck that I've had for probably 10 years. And at the time that I did the trimming and the edging, I think I'd had it for 3 or 4 years, maybe. Probably 3 years. And then I took all of these cards and I glued them into what I was creating at the time, which was just an updated Book of Shadows. And I mean, obviously I've pulled them all out. They were all just taped in, they weren't glued. So it was easy to pull them out and be able to work with them. So it did end up being a good deck to choose because A, I had it with me all the time, and B, because it is such a common deck, either as like a Rider-Waite specifically or as a Rider-Waite clone. It does make it easy for people to be able to associate. So kind of gave me some guidance there. And I mean, like I said, there is going to be an essay that kind of explains that a little bit better and a little bit more fully, keeping in mind that, you know, this is kind of a spur of the moment, off the cuff kind of a video, which is normally what I do. I don't normally plan these out a whole lot. So now the volume itself is going to be called Tarot Trails. Okay. And the subtitle is A Poetic Journey Through the Tarot. Okay. So that's what you're going to find it under when it's available. And I will make sure to include the links in the chat box or in the box below, like when it's available and as it's coming up. I'm going to see if I can set things up as a pre-order for you guys as well, so that that's an option if you are interested. Now, the first poem, like I said, that I'm going to read is The Fool. I have no idea which one I'm going to read second, so we're going to see. Now, these are mostly unedited at this point. Now, The Fool has actually been edited. A lot of the earlier ones had been edited already. So I'm going to do one. I think I'll do The Fool, and then we'll pick another one afterwards and kind of see where that takes us. Okay, so they're just titled based on the name of the card. Okay, so it's just called The Fool. And it says, "Look at me," he says, "basking in the sunlight. I'm going away to seek my fortunes. The little dog is by his side. I seek a new life, a new beginning, and adventures far and wide. He puts one foot in front of the other and takes the very first step. Recklessly, he gets too close to the edge, yet still he doesn't fall. Too innocent to know the hardships he'll face. Too immature to really care. Will he fail? Will he succeed? His future is yet unseen." So you kind of get that sense of like beginnings and just not knowing where things are going to go, but you're going to do it anyways, even though you don't know what's coming. And that's it's that unknowing. I don't know where my adventure is going to take me, but I'm going to go and do it anyways. It's that sense of like just kind of winging it, you know, like I do with my videos. Should have called my channel The Fool. But it's that idea of like things are just beginning. They're just starting. We have no idea where they're going to go, where their things are going to take us, how things are going to turn out. We have no idea what's coming because of this decision, but we're going to go for it because it could be worth it. How are we going to know if we don't try? Right? So that's kind of like where I wanted that one to go. Okay. So I just turned randomly and I pulled up the Eight of Swords. So let's read that one because I do have the swords written as well. And then you'll get like one of the majors and one of the minors. Okay. So keeping in mind that the Eight of Swords, the traditional imagery is a woman standing blindfolded and bound, and she's in a circle of swords, and it just doesn't look like a happy situation. You know, she does not look like she's in a good place. So I have stuck here, held against my will, tied up and trapped. I cannot see to make a move out of harm's way. Held by what? Why? What do you mean? I can't see what's around me and I can't see where I am. How could I possibly free myself from this prison? Here, I'm captive. Could I be? Thoughts race in and out of existence faster than I can think of them. Could it really be that my own thoughts are what keeps me here, confined to this place? So the idea there is that there's this lesson to be learned as well, you know, like, okay, yes, you're feeling stuck, you're feeling confined, but you can get out of it. You're not actually stuck. It's your perception, right? So that's kind of where that one was kind of headed, right? And you know what, let's do one of the quartz as well, just for something to do. All right, so, the Queen of Swords, all right. She watches and learns from what she sees. She knows what she wants, and she always gets it, not letting emotion get in the way of the choices she has to make. Top of her game, she never lets anything stop her from moving up in the world. How else did she become queen? She knows you too, what you want, what you need. She isn't above telling you, but only when you're ready to hear it. Will you ask her? So, you know, it's that idea that she's going to tell you what it is, because that's the way she's always been, very matter of fact, very straightforward. She's going to tell you the truth and she's not going to sugarcoat it. And she has all of this knowledge and all of this experience because she's put herself in that position to have those experiences and to have those thoughts and to be able to guide you without her emotion getting in the way. So I hope that kind of gives you guys some idea of like what some of these are going to be like. They're all individual. Because every card is different. Even the ones that have similar meanings are different in the poem because the imagery on the cards is different, right? Like the Six of Swords is about leaving things behind, but there's this element of urgency, of running away, and that's why they're in the boat, right? Because boats can travel faster, whereas the Eight of Cups is also about leaving behind the things that you don't need anymore, about the things that aren't serving you, but it's about leaving them behind rather than running away. Right, so there's less urgency there. It's more about like I've evolved beyond this point. I don't need those things anymore. Whereas the Six of Swords is more like I need to get away. I can't. I need to go like right now. And there's that sense of escape almost that goes with it, like that I can't be safe or I won't be safe until I'm away, right? So there is that element of almost self-preservation that goes with the Six of Swords. So even though they are similar and they do carry similar meanings, the poems themselves are going to be quite different because they do carry those different sets of imagery from the cards. And I do use the card itself, not just the words, but the physical card as part of the inspiration for what I'm writing, because I want to be able to include the actual imagery of the card. I want to be able to make reference to some of those elements as I go. So you will see a lot of that. Like, you'll see me mention things like I think it's with the Queen of Swords in the Robin Wood. She has a cloak with butterflies on it, and so like if I was using the Robin Wood, I might make reference to those butterflies and how they relate to that Queen of Swords and that sense of air and thought and intelligence and quick thinking, right? So you see how that kind of works. I hope that makes sense. Now, I'm not going to keep you guys on here for much longer here. I'm just going to say, like, again, you know, as soon as the book is available for pre-order, I will make sure the link is available below. If you're interested, you guys have questions or anything, please feel free to leave comments. I'm always open to hearing what people have to say, and I'm really looking forward to, you know, people's opinions on how this book goes. So tarot community, I would really, really, really love it if some of you guys would be able to kind of take a look for me when the book is available. I actually will have a PDF copy available for advanced readers. I'm just not set up for it quite yet. So I'm working on that part, but we'll get there. So for right now, I'm going to say that's it for now. I have some readings that I need to get to, and I have some writing to finish. So I will talk to you guys all later. I hope you all are having a wonderful weekend. It is Sunday afternoon here, so it's pretty chill at the moment, but we'll see how things pick up. All right, guys. It's always a pleasure speaking with you, and I will talk to you guys again. Bye-bye.